Hello all, welcome to rotanis.com. In this session, we'll discuss about a concept called BICC, or I can say a technical component in Fusion, BICC. So BICC stands for Business Intelligence Cloud Connector. Let's get into agenda. We'll try to understand what are the data extraction approaches in Oracle Cloud, BICC, what is BICC, and what is UCM. And we'll try to understand what are the PVOs which are available for configuring BICC, and what is the flow of a BICC if you are scheduling a BICC job. Okay, let's get into the next thing. Data extraction approaches. First thing is, why do we need a data extraction approach, or why do we need a data extraction from an ERP? The basic thing is, when you are as a client, or anyone uses Oracle Cloud ERP, so there are always a chance that you want to use the data which is available in Fusion in some other system, right? It can be like some other system want your Fusion data, or it can be you want to use that particular data for the other purpose of it can be reconciliation or managing the existing system, right? Or in simple terms, it's like any client may not satisfy with a single ERP. Always there are some set of multiple applications which they may be using, nothing but multiple ERP system or a different set of systems they may be using. That's the reason there is always a chance of extracting or need of data from some other ERP. Now, in the Fusion ERP scenario, these are the approaches which are available. The first one is using a web service approach, either SOAP or a REST. The availability of web service depends upon the entity which you are using. Okay. Next one is like you can design a BIP report and you can just schedule a BIP report service job and you can get the data. The other thing is, which we'll highlight in our session today, that is a BICC, Business Intelligence Cloud Connector. And the final approach is IACS, that is called Integration Access Cloud Service. In the simpler terms, it's a total DB replica approach. Nothing but the Fusion database data can be replicated in your on-premise database, or it can be another database. I mean to say, nothing but the data which is available in Fusion can be copied from your Fusion database to some other database. Of course, there are limitations, there are some rules. It's not just a simple copy. Of course, there are many things involved in that. Okay, so now let's get into our main agenda, BICC. So first of all, why do we use BICC? It is for the purpose of data extraction. And what is the format it provides? It provides a zipped CSV format. And does it require any license? No, it comes as part of your Fusion ERP license. Okay. And how can you extract? Nothing but when you perform an extract, where does it get stored? It provides some set of options. As of now, it provides Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Storage as well as UCM. And how do you schedule it? You can schedule it on demand, or you can provide a frequency, right? And also it provides some set of logging mechanism for you to validate what is happening. And what kind of data you can extract, that will show in another session. I mean, in another slide, which it gives you details about the existing set of public VIVOs or PVOs, or nothing but Oracle says it's offering. Based on that, you can configure which columns, which VIVOs you want, which PVO, I mean, which particular PVOs you want to have it, and what columns you want to have it. From that, you can configure it. Okay. And you can mention whether you want to full data or incremental data. Okay. And if at all, if the size of the file is greater than 1 GB, it has a provision to split the file. Okay. And as of now, it supports two locations only, UCM as well as Oracle storage, the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Storage. So this is a flow diagram of BICC. Here, if you observe, the first thing is BICC is a kind of a technical implementation which is available inside within the Fusion architecture. Okay, nothing but BI Cloud Connector. And what kind of data it provides, nothing but for which particular module, it provides the data for all these particular applications like a CX, HCM, ERP, as well as supply chain. Okay. And now, and what are the configurations you require? You just require only 3 configurations. First thing is you need to configure where you want to store, nothing but storage. You need to mention which particular entity you want to have it, nothing but the offering or PVO, I can say, and what is the scheduling frequency for it. And then finally, once your particular BICC job runs, it will get stored in some external storage. It can be either UCM or OCS storage. And what does it generate? It generates 2 kinds of files. One is manifest file, other one is the data file. Okay. And now, so BICC is closely involved with the UCM also. And when you work with Fusion ERP, like when you deal with FBTI, we always think about UCM. UCM is one of the repository for storing the log files of an ESS job, attachment files in any of the entity, right? And this is again a tool. Initially, it was a separate tool from Fusion ERP, but now like with Fusion ERP, it has, I mean, I can say like this UCM initially was a web center and other kind of content management system, but now within the Fusion ERP, this is one of the tool or this is one of the functionality which Fusion uses for the purpose of storing document. You can consider it as a document repository in a Fusion. And now when you run any job or when you have any attachment, like let us say when you have a PO attachment or a AP invoice attachment, they will get stored in UCM also. And also when you have ESS job run, like when you want to import for FBTI especially, what are the data file which you mentioned that will get here. And even not only that, even the public keys in some of the financial configuration also you'll be get stored here. And how do you access it? It's very simple. The URL for this one is like the cloud, your particular cloud instance /CS you have to mention. And how can you access the data which is there in the UCM? What you can do is from the UI, I can go to that /CS website, or other thing is using the web service APIs, or I mean the REST APIs also, you can get the data from the UCM. Okay. And now let's get into the main topic, configuring the BICC. Okay. So when you navigate to the BICC, it provides this bit of screenshot. I mean, let me directly navigate there rather than discussing this one. Let me show you that first of all. So here, 1 minute. Yep. So this is the one. So I'll navigate again here. Let me close unnecessary websites. Yep. So now here, if you observe, this is the BICC page. And here, if you observe, I have logged in with the user BI admin. And also one more important thing, when you are configuring BICC, you require appropriate roles. And now these are the main configuration we have to perform. Okay. The first thing here, if you observe, is like this data store, right? Configuring, manage, offering, and data stores. Okay. And next one is external configuring the storage. Other two things like this is schedule, and this is about jobs, and other one is just a language setting. Okay. Let's start with the first thing. Now let's say I'll click on manage offerings and data store. What does this offering is all about, right? Now, when you want data extraction, we always think from a point of view like a table point of view, nothing but let us say I want sales order data, or maybe I want ledger data, or I want EP invoice data, or maybe I want a party data, party master data. So, but how do you know the table name, right? So here it is not telling all this information. What it is telling is just it tells the offerings. But how do you get all this information? So what you can do is now this is a high level offering information right now. Let us say I'll select financial. Okay, so now in the financial, it is providing all this public data store PVOs. But how does we know which this PVO is related to which table, right? So for that purpose, what Oracle generally does for each version, it provides a zip file with an Excel sheet. Okay, that is where I'm coming about. This is one of the Excel sheet which Oracle provides for each particular version. Okay, and these are the business intelligence view objects. You can call it as or public view objects. And now one more important thing is this will be available from your customer connect website. And by default, like when you download, right, it may not provide you the filter option. You just need to always unprotect the sheet and you can perform the filtering. And now the first thing is based on the table, you have to find out the view object. Based on the table, you have to find out your public view object, PVO. Now let us say I want to find out, I just need the details of AP invoice. So I'll just search for AP invoice. Okay. Let me clear this one because I already filtered, right? So let me clear this one. AP invoice. Okay, so you can select whether you want to all of this thing, or maybe let us say I just want only the invoice headers. I'll select AP invoice. Now in this one again, it is providing a multiple PVOs, right? So you need to select the appropriate one. Maybe like some information it will tell you like a transaction invoice header PVO. Okay, I'll select this one. Now this is my offering name. This is my offering name. So then what I'll do is once I get the offering name, so I can search here and I can select that, right? So now here it is not having any of this information, right? So now what I'll do is, so here in action, I'll simply say create offering. Okay. There are many ways you can do it. You can search in the offering and that way you can do it. Now what we can do is, let us say I just mention my offering, XXAP invoice offering. And I'll simply mention my data store here, this one. Okay, now we got this information. So, but in the initial screen, what we have seen, let me navigate back there. So now what exactly it is doing is, let us say if I just click on financial again, it provides the list of Vivo objects which are available, but we may not get clarity, right? So we don't require all the offerings, which all the set of data sets which are available in the financial offering. We don't want all of them. We just want a specified one. So that's the reason what you do is the easiest thing is click on action, create offering, and you just select the data store, whichever you want to have it. And now you select that. Okay. And it is not only header, you can select the other things also. Let us say if you want to have other things like maybe AP invoice, AP invoice. Let me select lines also. Okay. Lines. Okay. So now similarly here, if you observe, we selected transaction aim dot invoice header PVO, transaction aim dot invoice, transaction aim dot invoice, invoice line PVO. Just select this one. Okay. Now select the lines also. Now in this offering, we have XXAP invoice. I'll say header and line. Okay. Now this is my custom offering. I'm selecting what data I want. We don't want data which is available across all financial modules, isn't it? We just want a few set of things, mention them and click on save. Now we have created our custom offering. Just search with that XX here. Okay, now these are some of the custom offerings which are available in this one. Now you just double click here. Okay, now it is telling what are the data stores which are available here. Now, as of now, what we have done, we just created a custom configuration. Now the next thing is you need to have a data store, right? Click on data store, configure external storage. As of now, it is providing three options, right? Storage service connection, OCI, object storage, and UCM. I tried with the object storage with one of my OCI account, but it was not working. But so we can ignore that. Now, next thing is UCM connection. So UCM connection, we does not need to do anything. By default, Oracle provides pre-configured UCM within our Fusion ERP. So we don't require any other external UCM system, something like that. Whatever the UCM which comes by default with the Fusion ERP, that is enough, and it is pre-configured. We does not need to do any configuration here, but we'll be using UCM in our extraction now. Now, next thing is assume that we have configured our particular storage, or if at all, if you want to configure this also, it is quite easy. So let me show you the existing one, OCI object storage, which I configured. Yep. You just need to mention like your particular storage name, host name, like a tenancy ID, user ID, namespace, and bucket. And also this particular public key you have to export to your OCI, add IDM, I mean to say IDM. Okay, once a particular connection is successful, then only you can use it, else it's of no use. Okay, let me try. It will not work, but I just want to show you. So this is how it will is. Now let us say if we consider the UCM, UCM is pre-configured, and let us say if I just say test connection, it is succeeded. Okay, so unless your test connection is succeeded, you cannot use it for the extraction. Okay, now so as of now we have performed two configurations. One is data configuration and your particular storage configuration. Next thing is scheduling, manage extract schedules or manage jobs. So I'll go with manage extract schedules here. Generally this is preferred when you want to run the job only once, right? So I'll just click on create here. I'll just say application data extract, and I'll say XXAP invoice extract. Okay, and next in the data store list, mention the extraction, our offering name. Okay, and mention enabled for extract. Now click on next, and external storage, you have to mention where you want to store this extract. Click on next. Okay, and save it. Okay, so what is this step is doing is we are telling to run a job and we are telling where to store the extract. Okay, and now it will run an ESS job. Okay, so now what we do is we'll go to this particular one. Like here, if you observe, right, it automatically, I mean, it ran a job and it is in ready state, right? This one. Let me copy this one. And here I'll mention the job ID, nothing but process ID here. Okay, and the job name is BI Cloud Connector job definition. Okay, it may not have any parameters. It does not show any information, much information here. Okay, so we have to wait until it gets finished. Okay, now assume that like this job gets completed, but how do you get our extract, right? That's the next thing. So now let us say once our job is done, our job is completed, but how do I get extract? You just need to navigate to the Fusion ERP and just mention /CS. Now it goes to the UCM, and this is a place where you can search the file. You can search the file of the BICC extract. Click on advanced here on the search, click on advanced. Now here what you do is just search with the security group OBI star. And now click on search. It provides a list of files which are matching with this particular fusion extraction. Now here you can observe, right? So it has these set of particular fusion extracts which are matching with OBI, nothing but these are all BICC extracts. Okay. Now, but how do we know? But how do we know the extract which we are working on, the API invoice extract? How do we know that? So this manifest file. So here, if you observe, right, the MM file, the manifest file. So actually there are 3 files. I'll show the PPT first of all. Let me show that, and then we can discuss here. So I'll go back again to my PPT. We have discussed this one, storage, and we have discussed about what is PVO or BIVO. And you can get this particular sheets from this particular community, Oracle community or cloud customer connect. And then we have created offering, and we have done this one. Many jobs we'll discuss. But for now, what we'll do is we'll try to understand when you run a job, right? When you run a job, it will have the job ID, request ID. The request ID, based on the request ID, you can search in your particular ESS scheduled page. And in the BICC also, you can get the information, whether it is running or success or wait or error. And now in the OBIA, when you search it, you'll get the list of files which are matching with that. And next thing is now here, if you observe, there are 3 files, right? One is MF, the manifest file. Okay, and this manifest file will tell you which is your zip file. Okay, and that zip file will have internally even have the ESS ID, and also there is one more status file which is JSON file which will have a request ID. So whenever you get a whenever your particular BICC job is completed, it will generate 3 files, and each one will be linked one to the other, and that will have the information about what is the extract and what is particularly for which job it has run. Okay, and now let me show again. Let us search here. Let us see the status of that. Refresh here. Okay, it's still running, right? It's still running. This is my earlier job. Okay, can you see here? So here, if you observe, right, these are some of my earlier jobs, and this one, this JSON is having the information about what was the extract it completed and what is the status of it. Okay, and it extracted the customer account information, isn't it? It extracted the customer account information. Now here, if you observe, let me show you the job files which I have downloaded. Okay, so this is how. 1 minute, I'll show you this one. Yeah, this is one. So this is how it will show here. If you observe, right, this URL will also have the information about the batch information and also for which particular module it downloaded and what is a batch and what is the ESS ID also. Okay, so this is how it looks like. And here, as of now, I have not configured the columns, but when you're configuring the data store, you can mention which columns you want to have it. As of now, it provides some default set of columns. You can customize those set of columns also. Okay, and one more important thing is this data is near real-time data, nothing but like whenever the end user or whenever the end system is using this particular data, so always there's a millisecond delay, right, or a microsecond delay. So definitely like what you're seeing in the future may not be exactly available here until unless if it is very totally real time, right? So that we have to consider. So now the major important thing you can try to validate is, let us say if I want to finish, yeah, based on this job only, right? Based on this job success only, you can say whether your particular extraction is successful or not. Okay. It will take some time. It depends upon the data. Okay. So this is all about, like how do you configure a BICC one. Okay. And you can also validate this manifest file. Let me show you my manifest file also, which I have downloaded earlier. Yeah, this mf.txt. So here, if you observe, right, so this manifest file, and here, this was a zip file, isn't it? This was a zip file, batch 7620 1340 13428. Okay, so this is a zip file. Okay, this is a CSV file in which I have this information. Okay, so this is how it will interlink. Okay, so maybe when we design any integration, or when we design the end system which reads this set of files, right, we can mention what is the status of each file, and based on that you can interlink them. Okay, so this is all about the fusion extraction strategy for BICC. Okay, and also you can refer to this particular PVO to get information, and also there are some of the references you can refer for configuring the OCI storage and configuring the UCM, or maybe some of the mapping information. Okay, and the good amount of documentation from Oracle docs also. Okay, thank you.